So if you're moving to Fairbanks or even just planning a trip up, chances are you've heard a few things about the area that have you excited about your trip up here, and we're excited to have you. But there are a few things that you need to know about the area before you get here, so let's talk about them. Hey everyone, it's Justin Heminger with Apex Realty Group, and you're tuned in to Discover Fairbanks. We've guided thousands of folks through the process of buying and selling homes here in Fairbanks and North Pole over the last 10 years, and this channel is a collection of everything that we've learned, set up just for you. If you've got questions or comments about living in Fairbanks, living in North Pole, you can drop them down in the comments section below. You can also reach out to us at 907-885-0316, or you can check out our website for all of the properties that are for sale here in Fairbanks and North Pole right now. So let's get started. So the first thing on the list of things not to do when you get to Fairbanks is don't ignore your mental health. One of the questions that I get all the time when talking with people is, oh, how do you deal with all of the the lack of daylight? And is seasonal affective disorder, is that really a thing? And yeah, not having daylight all the time is kind of a big deal. Doesn't matter if you're the happiest, strongest, most congenial person on the planet, taking that really great vitamin D sunlight that you get all the time away for a really, really long time, it can have an effect on somebody, or on a lot of people. Me, for instance, it hit me pretty hard this year. It's one of the reasons why I'm talking about it right now. But one of the things that it's important to keep in mind is that even though you might be going through it, and it's really easy to think, oh, well, this just really sucks for me. You're not the only one that's going through it. So while it's really, really super easy to think that, you're not. There are a lot of people in Fairbanks that are experiencing mental health issues like that and a lot more, and you're not alone. A great resource to reach out to is, especially if you're going through a mental health crisis, is NAMI Fairbanks. So NAMI Fairbanks is the National Alliance for Mental Illness chapter here in Fairbanks, and they're actually celebrating their 40th year helping folks here in the interior. NAMI Fairbanks has several support groups available for folks throughout the spectrum of folks that are experiencing mental illness. And not only for those that are experiencing mental illness themselves, but also for their family members that are supporting those that are experiencing mental illness, because that is, being that support system for the folks that are experiencing mental illness is also it's tough. It's a tough life to live. And those family members need support too. And there are support systems set up here in Fairbanks, for you. So remember, you are also not alone. So if you're in crisis, if you're feeling like you are, not in a great spot and you need to talk to somebody, you can reach out tonight to NAMI Fairbanks. You can always, you can call 988. You can also text NAMI to 741-741. That'll get you in direct contact with them. We'll put their website, namifairbanks.org, here in the description below. They're a really great local organization. So number 2, don't put all of your trust into weather reports. So weather reports in Alaska are more like general guidelines than actual factual predictions of what's likely going to happen. I can't count how many times I've been out and about all over the state and had weather that called, or a weather report that called for fantastic sunshine weather, and instead found myself experiencing rain, nasty, spitting, gross, cold, windy, not sunshine and rainbows weather. So I recommend that rather than trusting a weather report, you just get great outdoor gear. So that way, it doesn't matter what the weatherman says. If he says that it's going to be warm and dry, you're prepared for it to be cold and wet. He says it's going to be cold and snowy, well, then you're prepared for it to be warm and dry just in case, because you're going to dress in layers. So essentially, there's no such thing as bad weather. It's just really poor preparation. With how extreme our weather can be, like for instance, it's 40 below right now. I talked a big game here recently about, it hasn't been 40 below for an extended amount of time. And here it is. We've been this is like week 2 of 40 below. But anyway, With how extreme our weather can be, you don't want to be outside in the elements for very long unprepared. And one of the best places that you can get prepared for cold weather is at Prospector Outfitters on South Cushman. They have the absolute best selection for outdoor gear in Fairbanks. And their prices are also the best that you're going to find in Fairbanks. So if you are looking for cold weather gear, doesn't matter what kind of layers you're looking for, they've got it. So you should stop in and see them. Check them out for sure. All right, next on our list, don't approach the wildlife. So more often than not, you're probably not even going to see majority of the wildlife that lives around us here in the interior of Alaska. We've got moose, black bears, grizzly bears, wolves, caribou, Dall sheep really far away, wolverines, lynx, all kinds of animals here. And believe it or not, they all want to be left alone, every single one of them. If you see any of them in the wild, unless you are in the process of hunting them, legally, don't approach them. You kind of stay out of their way because they're kind of going on their own business. You leave them alone. Now, majority of the time, these animals are going to be, this is going to sound bad, but they're going to be smarter than the humans that do choose to approach them, and they are going to run away because they value their own lives. But sometimes, in the off chance that someone should make direct contact with like a moose or a bear, and it chooses fight over flight, well, we are a lot softer than they are, and they are also kind of fit for this environment, and we're not. So if there is a fight between us and a moose, chances are really good that we're going to lose that fight. So just consider that before you go and start to want to go pet a wild moose or a wild bear. Consider that if you're going to pet somebody's pet bear or pet moose. Ooh, that reminds me, I almost forgot. We just updated our Fairbanks relocation guide and filled with all kinds of essential information that you need to know if you're planning a move to the area. Also, click the link in the description below to get your free copy. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more Fairbanks related content. Next on our list, don't relocate without a job. So this one should kind of go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're planning on moving here and you want to buy a house, unless you're independently wealthy, you're going to need a stable income in order to pay for that house. Luckily, Fairbanks and North Pole are home to both Fort Wainwright, Eielson Air Force Base. So the Army and Air Force employ a great deal of folks that kind of work on both military installations, in both the military and civilian side. Also, with the rich oil and mineral reserves that we have all around the state, we've got a large amount of businesses all over the place that are constantly hiring in many capacities to keep the mines and the pipeline going. Alongside both of these sits a large sector of health, social, civil, and educational support networks to be sure that life at home runs smoothly. What this has created is a huge need for dedicated professionals across a wide variety of skill sets. So chances are, if you're one of those highly trained and dedicated professionals, there's a job here for you. And if you're looking for a job, check out this video on the 7 best jobs in Alaska in 2023, and be on the lookout for our 2024 Alaska Jobs Report. Never assume you're going to have cell reception. So Alaska's a big place. It's like 665,400 square miles big. So the local internet service provider or cell reception service provider, GCI, has done a great job putting up cell reception towers. I think that at this point, most, if not all of the villages all around Alaska have cell reception too, which is pretty awesome. Chances are really good if you're out and about in Fairbanks or North Pole or one of our major areas in Alaska like Anchorage or Juneau or Kenai or Mat-Su Valley, you'll have a signal regardless of your cell provider. But 665,400 square miles is a lot of ground to cover, and there can be hundreds of miles between some of those places. So it's highly unlikely that you won't have cell reception. So if you're planning on moving up here for the adventure that Alaska has to offer, but you're worried about getting into a tough situation where you're going to have to call for help, I'd recommend the Garmin InReach GPS. So this has a send everyone come get me because I messed up, like one button push. I'll take better photos and I'll take better stuff. But it has a one button alert thing along with it. It's got GPS, and it's got the ability to send your loved ones, messages back and forth along with your location and waypoints. It has definitely saved me a couple of times, and now it's to the point where I don't head out into the wild places without it. This is the best tool to have in your pack when you are going out and about anywhere in. All right, next on our list, don't be surprised about home prices. So our homes are not like the homes that you're typically used to in the lower 48. So if you have lived in the lower 48 for most of your life, you're likely used to homes that are built to maximize living space. But homes in the interior of Alaska are built to maximize energy efficiency over living space for the most part. Don't get me wrong, we absolutely want as much living space as we can get. But with more space comes the need to heat all of that space too. And the interior of Alaska is one of the most austere environments in the world. So, it is constantly trying to find ways to take back everything that we've made, all of this stuff from nature. We're trying to take it back to nature. So rather than building huge homes everywhere, builders have been focusing on how to build more efficiently. In fact, you should check out the Cold Climate Housing Research Center at the University of Alaska Fairbanks for more information. They have got all the information about the latest cutting-edge energy-efficient building techniques, and with their help, builders have been able to build homes that stay warm in some of the harshest environments that we've been able to have. For instance, we're experiencing 40, 50 below right now, and I'm inside and it's 70 degrees inside. So thanks to their help, builders have been able to build really great homes in some of the toughest environments in the world. So check them out. Their link to their website's down in the description. Last on our list, don't miss out on the Aurora Borealis. People flock to the interior of Alaska from all over the world in order to see the Aurora Borealis, and having seen it myself hundreds of times, it's super clear why. Aside from the Aurora Australis, there's just nothing like it. The reason I say it is because they are mirror images of each other. So that is the only thing on Earth that is exactly like it. But every time the Northern Lights are out, you'll see people pulling over to the side of the road and looking at them. If there's a spot that has a clear view of them, people will be stopped there and taking a look at them. You'll probably see me there too. If they're out and I'm awake, I'll definitely be looking at them for sure. If not, then you'll have to check in the next morning and see. It's super embarrassing seeing everybody's really cool Facebook photos. And it's like, oh, look at the lights. They were out at 3 o'clock. It's like, I wasn't up at 3 o'clock. But the lights are generated when energized particles from the sun slam into the Earth's upper atmosphere, and they are beautiful. They're really cool. And they can range from pale green to breathtaking purples and reds if you're lucky. And although they happen year-round, we can really only see them in the winter when it's dark. That's kind of a bummer, but that's one of the good things about being here in the winter is that we can see the lights, which is pretty cool. So I've dropped a link to the Geophysical Institute at the University of Alaska Fairbanks website because they have an up-to-date aurora forecast. So if you want to see kind of what the aurora is going to look like for the next few days, or what they assume that it's going to look like based off of solar activity, check out that link. It's a great little guide. So take a look at it. Hope you got some value out of this video. If you did and you'd like to see some more videos like it, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, make sure you like the video. If you have any questions about Fairbanks, about the real estate market, about moving to Fairbanks, give us a call, 907-885-0316. You can also reach out to us at www.fbxhomesearch.com.